Attention bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen! Hello, yodelers. We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I'm your host today, Peter, with my co-host,
Jackie.
And
Chief.
And
Father Yodeler.
Whoa, so loud. Why are you
Man,
yelling?
I'm going to have to edit that volume down.
This is the Whisper episode.
ASMR.
Father Yodeler.
This is me eating a Mickey bar.
Ow, my teeth are hurting. It's frozen still.
Ah, my jaw just cracked.
You didn't get the head, did you?
It's frozen.
Right? Now, today, we are going to have an interesting episode. We're going to complain a lot.
What's
today.
new about this
I know.
episode
It's
and the
pretty
other
much all our
episodes?
But we're going to really complain.
We're just clowning on each other
I
most
don't
of
know
the time.
about the MC for this episode.
So, I was watching another show, and they did their own, they do their own March Madness bracket, but they're Disney fans, so every year they do a different theme. This year was the biggest Disney theme park mistakes.
What was the show?
It's a
Credit them.
WDWNT or WDW. The news site is News Today.
I thought you were just doing a website, and I was
It
all
is.
like,
It is a
okay,
website.
okay.
But they have a comedy show called WDW News Tonight. So it's like their SNL sort of thing. So like they
Okay.
do little skits and things like that. And so they compiled a list of what they felt were the biggest Disney mistakes that are theme park related.
Blunders.
Yes, and they kind of bracketed out, and they at the end of after we've had our discussion, I'll tell you what they ended up with, or if you just want to listen to them, you can go listen to them and their discussion about it. But I did send it out to the other yodelers. We're not going to do the bracket. We're just going to kind of have discussion about. I don't know. Did you guys even look at it?
Is this their bracket?
This is their bracket.
Oh, okay.
As you can tell, it has their logo there at the bottom, and so they designed it. I didn't pick any of these things. These are very Disney World centric people, so a lot of the things on the list they compiled are a lot of Disney World stuff.
I think it'd be easier to be a news person or a vlogger or blogger about
Disney
Disney
World?
World than it is about Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yes,
So much more content.
absolutely. So, I don't know. Did you guys get a chance to look at it? I sent
Kinda.
it to you.
It's kind of
Today.
blurry, and I
wasn't sure if you were able to.
No.
It's like
Zoom
when
in
the
on
person in the group, like for the project, goes, "Hey, I got this part." You're really like, "I'm not really gonna look into that part of the project."
I wasn't sure if there was something you wanted to look at here. So I'll just kind of go through the list, and if there's something that stands out to you that you want to discuss, or we can talk about them. Okay.
4 hours later.
Exactly. Well, I mean, they came up with a list of was that 32 things. So quite a bit. Some of these I don't necessarily think I would consider as this was a bad decision. I think they were just decisions
When
that were made.
nerds getting
Right. It's
they
like when
painted this garbage can.
they throw out they shouldn't have closed Horizons. It's like, well, Horizons.
was not
Nobody was riding that ride. It was it's a great ride, but it was
it
at
was
the
getting
end of
dated
its life.
at that point.
It was time for it to go. So it made yeah. Would it be great if it's still around? It would be great.
No,
but it was
it
a
wouldn't.
time-
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Right. So there's things like that. So I'll go through some of them here. So they kind of tiered it off with tier 1 was paid fast pass.
Oh, I hate it.
Oh, that's the worst.
Can we just get rid of Fast Pass?
For real.
The experience would be so much better. You guys got to experience
Yeah.
the
It was
little
nice.
blip time when there was no Fast Pass. You
Yeah,
guys,
when we
you-
went.
Yes.
It
It
must
was
have
so
been
nice.
nice where just the
It
lines
was.
moved.
It
It was just like
excellent.
the line was there, you get in it. There was no question oh, should I get a fast pass? Should I not? Should I wait? No, it's just
And then the next day it was there, and it was horrible.
well, It wasn't that bad because nobody could use it.
I don't know.
'Cause it was
I
a
had
glitch.
a bad experience that time.
Yeah.
Just waiting and
It's-
waiting and people abusing what felt like people abusing the fast pass.
Yeah, fast pass. It's just it's a interesting. You either fall on the side of there's like three sides. So there's side that's get rid of fast pass altogether. Then there's the side of there's nothing wrong with fast pass. Fast pass is just fine. And then there's the side of make fast pass more expensive, make it a super luxury thing that only the super
That way we know who to target from the rich.
exactly.
It really builds up hate the rich
Yeah.
mantra right now.
I wish they had a fast pass free time period. You know, a certain week, a month, no fast pass.
How egalitarian of you.
The next one on their list was the closure of Pleasure Island at Disney World. The
Oh, you're talking about like
nightclubs.
90s, like 2000s
Oh yeah, this
Pleasure Island?
goes.
I'm totally fine with that. I enjoy the Disney Springs how it is.
I never experienced it, but boy, people really reminisced about it. They have really good war stories. Like
The
you want
nightclubs?
the nightclubs
It
and just the
was-
stupidity.
For people that love nightclubs, that was it.
It was gonna give you that memory.
It was
You're gonna have a
definitely
story.
Pinocchio's Pleasure Island. Having been there,
Yep,
it was.
that's the way I felt. I
walked
walked
through it and I said, "Yeah, that's for some people, but it's not for me."
I walked through every one but two of them, and I go the only one that I actually felt comfortable one was in the 8 tracks one. That was the only one where I felt.
The oldies.
Yeah,
I heard that one was a lot of fun.
What
yeah.
about the adventure?
That was one I didn't make it in because the line was.
That was
like
the one with the
forever
pyramid,
long.
right?
Yeah.
That one's the one I was like, man, I wish I could have gotten
That one looked interesting, but it didn't spend a lot of time in there. But that one looked the
Well, that one
most
had, like,
Is that when you
Inner-
dumped us off with our grandma?
Yes.
And you're like, we're going to Pleasure Island.
Yep.
Yeah,
I was just happy to have Cocoa Pebbles.
I think one of the things I
Cocoa
didn't
Puffs.
like about Pleasure Island was that you couldn't walk through it in the daytime. You had to like walk
around it.
around it
Yeah.
So they
to get
blocked
to the
it
other.
off.
Yeah, they blocked it off, so you couldn't walk through Pleasure Island in the daytime.
Just that little corner.
Yeah, you had to
You had to go
walk
through
on the
Planet
you
Isle-
you had-
Planet-
yeah, you had to walk in the street. There was no sidewalk either, which is like, what was
It
your
was
problem?
still
But you know
open
what?
when you were there.
Yeah.
If you
Wow.
want to
Yep.
bring it
Yeah,
back,
they shut it down before I got there
if you
in
they
2010.
if they really want it back, just put it back in the sports.
Oh, the ESPN zone?
the-
No, that's already
No.
been. That's gonna be something else now.
The
Disney Quest,
Disney.
Yeah,
that got
that's
torn
the-
down, didn't they?
not the ESPN zone, the NBA experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was there a financial reason why they shut it down? Is
What
it-
the NBA experience?
No, the
Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island.
It's just it was too messy for, like the optics were getting
I think
bad.
they wanted it more family.
Yeah.
I think that was it. They wanted, it was getting out of hand. It was turning into what Universal had,
Yeah.
and it was just getting
turning
messy.
into spring break in Miami.
Yeah, it was just
Gotten
getting
a
it was
bad
getting
vibe.
sloppy, and it was turning people off from going there for that reason. When going through there in the day, you're completely fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The next one on their list was the Reedy Creek War.
Is that the one with?
Yes.
I don't think.
It
I don't
was-
think it's a blunder. I think they just.
I think it was a blunder. Personally, it was just.
I mean, it got bad optics. It was.
It
It was
did.
a public war with the government,
Yeah.
and that's where it got messy. Was
Yep.
because Disney's like, well, we have every right to, and this is our deal. And you got somebody that came in that, you know,
You don't get special deals.
you don't get special deals, but it's kind of funny because they come from a platform of like, we're all pro business, but I'm gonna like really mess with like one of the biggest money bakers, you know, because I, you know, want to show you who's in charge.
It was
that was the
messy,
messy part. Was like
and it
Yeah.
changed.
you got an ego
There
that
was
came into
ego.
power there.
There was a lot of negative
It was
effects
a
that came about of this.
large cause of Chapek's demise was he
Yep.
got
Yeah.
caught in the middle of between his employees.
He
and-
started
Yeah.
off on he started off doing good, and then he fell into it, and
He
and made
became
it 1,000 times
wishy-washy.
worse.
You didn't know what was
He
going
got-
on.
Because
got
originally he
sucked
goes,
into politics,
we're not
yeah.
going to be political. I'm not taking a stance on anything on what's happening in Florida. And then he got pressure from inside the company that he needs to take a side, and so he took a side, and then
it all
The
went
then it
culture
all
war
fell
of
apart.
politics really got him.
Yep.
Yep, that was bad.
So that was
It's bad optics, but I applaud Disney for standing their ground, and it was fun to see Reedy Creek do their kind of like, well, we'll hand over power when the next king of England takes
Yes.
over in
Right.
100 years.
It was funny.
That was kind of funny to
The
watch.
loopholes.
yeah.
How
yeah.
Disney was
Lawyers.
fighting. It's like,
It's gonna make for a really good book.
I think it will be really
Yeah.
good, and I'm, it went away
Oh,
because
yeah,
of the
it's over.
presidential elections
It's
and
over
stuff.
now.
But it was,
They ended it. That's
but
all.
it showed you both sides
Mm-hmm.
and how it got dirty.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, bad for Disney with the optics.
Yes.
But for the viewers of the mudslinging and to kind of get a little more of like what's going on behind scenes, that was kind of interesting.
And the thing that was
Yeah.
frustrating for me was like listening to people who were like, "Oh, I've got these strong opinions about this," and I go, "This is a local issue. This has nothing to do with Disney fans
Yeah,
or
no.
anything like that. This
I
is a
thought it-
local
Yeah.
issue that got this national publicity and got escalated too much."
I thought it was interesting how people are like, "Oh, Disney's gonna lose fans because of this," and I was like, "No,
they were already going to lose those fans.
Yes.
yeah,
They
And
were already
those
not
fans, like
fans.
half those fans were like
They were
foot out the
already-
door.
Yeah.
They just needed a good reason to get pushed out, and all the political pundits, they spread their gospel to their people, and
Chapek,
they left.
Chapek was the biggest loser.
He
out
was the
of
biggest loser
this.
of that one.
Now,
Yep.
as far as Disney as a company, I think they lost some things.
Yes, they did.
They gained some things.
Yes.
That they aren't responsible for now that they used to be responsible for.
Yep.
How that weighs out, who knows?
Yeah.
They lost the freedom to be able to do whatever they want
Yes,
Right.
with Reedy
whenever
Creek.
they want it. Yeah.
But now they don't have to pay for road maintenance and things like that. So.
There's a trade off, and they were under the thumb of who was put in place by the governor. It was kind of like, okay.
All right, the next one, the new Bland hotel towers, just very generic. The new hotels like the new Adventureland Tower, they're just kind of like these very generic hotels. And not that we have
Where?
anything to discuss. Just
At Disney
in
World?
general, any of their hotels. If you look at them, they're very generic looking.
Are you just
They're
talking
not
about,
very
like,
Disney?
Like the art of animation or like the sports ones.
No, like we're talking like the new DVC ones that they're building, the ones that just look like generic hotels.
Oh, is this for like in different outside of the Disney bubble?
No, this is like inside, like on Walt Disney World property. A lot
Okay.
of those hotels.
I've no-
like
I
the
don't know
new-
what you're
the,
talking about,
The
so-
most recent one, like the ones they announced, like
they-
that-
Coronado or not Coronado.
They aren't the hotels that Eisner was building.
right.
And I don't think that affects most
And
Disney fans.
most people
that much.
don't
much.
care about that.
I just want a bed.
They put it
Yes.
on there.
Once you hit that bed, you're out. You don't know where you're at.
Right. I'm gonna move on from that one because that one's
I want to keep talking about it.
All right.
Keep going.
Well, we got
Speak
a
to me
lot
about
here,
this.
So there's like 64 of these things. So,
Number two. Oh, I mean, well,
all right. Rocket Rods in Tomorrowland '98.
what about putting it in or taking it out?
However you feel about it.
The mistake was apparently in putting it in.
I think the mistake was putting it in.
Yeah, don't give us something that's cool and then take it away.
And then not give us back the
It
other
was
thing that we
cool.
like.
Yeah.
I did think it was kind of weird when I just put my hands up like you normally do on a roller
And you're hitting the
coaster,
the
and
roof.
I'm rubbing my hand on the ceiling, and I go, "That doesn't feel safe."
Like I'm knocking the asbestos off the roof. It's
Does not
snowing.
feel safe. Do not put your hands up.
I
on
never
that.
rode it, so I have no opinion on it.
I thought it was super cool. I liked it as a
fun
kid.
ride.
If they just actually built it to handle that,
Right.
it would be great.
Yeah, had they kept I would have been happier if they'd kept the people mover.
Yeah, knowing that now.
Yes.
But if the rocket rod was still working, like if they built
Sure.
it like where the track could like bend,
And it wasn't breaking down
Every
You
more
wouldn't-
frequently
nobody
than
would be
Indiana
thinking
Jones.
about it. No one would think once about the people mover.
Yeah.
Because I remember the rocket rods; those lines were long,
astronomical.
and it was they were breaking down. But when you rode it, you were having fun.
Yes.
It was.
It was a fun ride.
So yes, because we don't have rocket rods, we're gonna be like, I want the people mover back.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Like, it's better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The next one they have, and Jackie might disagree with this one, is the Disney Cruise Line Wish class as a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know enough about that.
I don't necessarily
I don't think it's a mistake. I think
compared to some of their other classes. They
No.
call it, they consider it a lesser class compared to others.
The newer ones?
the
most
new,
recent one.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they did a great job. I think the Treasure is better than the Wish from what I've seen.
They've got some nice special effects going on in some of their food things.
I like
The
the
things they talk about
theming.
is like the layouts are not very.
I can understand the layout because
are not very conducive for the guests. It's
They-
very inconvenient.
they eliminated a set of elevators in the middle.
Wow, elevators are causing this problem. Wow.
Well, I mean, if you have to walk the entire length of a boat, you know,
They should install the people movers, and
they
that would
should.
make it a
That would
better.
solve the
It'd be
problem.
like
People
Wall-E.
movers. People
or the
movers solve
rocket
everything.
rods.
Rocket rods
Yeah.
on the cruise.
It'd
Let's
be
do it.
literally Wall-E on the ocean.
So the next one they have is the Vision of Disney Hollywood Studios. So this is when they transitioned away from being
MGM.
MGM, the living studio vibe, to being a thematic.
I think the blunder was not the transition. I think the blunder was even half doing it.
I think they just lost the heart of the new park when they transitioned.
Well,
Yeah.
like
They didn't use it.
again,
Yeah.
like these
And
people. I
I-
feel like these people. They're very like, oh, we miss everything. Like they're very. They like the way things used to be.
Or the intention of what was going to be.
Right.
Now,
Is this where you get your 80s like
you do
fandom?
not-
A little bit.
Okay.
You do
Well,
not
I mean,
want
I've
to
always
go
kind of been
back
like
to
that. They just help
1955
fire it.
Disneyland.
No.
You do not want to go back to that.
Well, we could talk. That's on the list.
Okay.
So
I want to be a truist.
um,
pirate ship dining
experience at Dumbo. No Dumbo. There was no Dumbo when they opened.
No. Who
So the next one on the list was the theme park reservation system.
Oh, get rid of it.
I'm okay with it. It's when they start telling people that, like, I'm okay if you telling Disney, I want to go to Disneyland, and they go, well, what day are you going? And you telling them what day you're
Yeah,
going.
don't tell me which park.
Yeah, it's
Don't-
the park.
It's the part where they tell you you can't go to this
I
park.
got a park hopper. I've paid extra money, and you're going to be like, oh, sorry. You have to wait till 10 o'clock. I roll. Give me
Yeah.
a break.
When is this really going to make a difference?
I've paid so much money already to get here, and you're like, oh, sorry. We're gatekeeping you because you made a mistake.
I also don't like the whole park reservation to where you can kind of work it to where they'll like turn on a switch and be like, there's reservations, and then turn off a switch. Psych, there's no reservations.
Right.
Like I've had to work it, like I'll refresh it after an hour. And
They should show you the number that they have for the tickets for that day, and you can decide we're like, oh, yeah, the park's full or not. That would be
my
more
biggest complaint
informative.
is they've made it more complicated,
Yep.
more expensive,
Yeah.
Yep.
and they're providing less entertainment.
Yeah.
We're
That-
agreeing.
Oh,
Everyone
that-
shaking their head.
That's
yes.
on the list. That's on the
Yeah.
list.
Pay
all right.
more for less.
The next one on the list, closing the original Imagination ride.
Yeah, I mean, considering what we got.
Absolutely.
But if they were going to do something better, yeah, then I would have been for the better. But we didn't get anything better.
Yeah, no, they should reopen the original. They would be much better off than
Dream
what they have now.
Finder's still upstairs, back at least 15
Right.
years ago. On the second floor, they just took the animatronic and stuck him up there. So maybe he's still there.
So this one is also a Disney World closure, closing of 2,000 Leagues. 20,000.
Oh,
leagues.
they paved over it.
Yeah,
It
closing
was
of the
it was
20,000
sad to
leagues.
see the 20,000 leagues under the sea submarines disappear. It was so exciting when Disney World opened and you saw, look at their submarines.
It's
They
the-
are
it's
so
the Nautilus,
cool. It's the
right.
Nautilus. I
The
was
the
so-
actual Nautilus looking from the movie. Yeah.
from the outside, that was really sad to see. Now I wrote it when we went, and it's the submarine
Right.
ride. Other than that, but
Right. It looked pretty.
it looked pretty.
Yeah.
But now it's just a parking lot.
Yeah, if that's
Now it's Little Mermaid,
the bigger.
or is that
It's a
Seven
little bit
Dwarfs?
of both. It's a little bit of
Seven
both.
Dwarfs?
Well, you got to look at
It's
it
that
this way
area.
too. If you're at Disneyland and you're standing over by the Matterhorn on the east side, and you're looking at that water, and you just say, "This adds so much
Oh, yeah.
to the
Absolutely.
texture and beauty," and then you think, "Oh," and they're bulldozing over the rivers of America,
Yeah.
and they're losing that water. Well, Florida has got no problem with water. Why are they bulldozing all the water? Is it?
Right.
I guess it's. Oh, you can get water anywhere in Florida.
Right.
Maybe that's it. Okay.
I don't know.
I
So-
just think you're losing a lot of atmosphere there.
Yep. That's why it made the list. So, next one on the list, the closure of the Osborne lights.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, it was a nice tradition to go and,
Yeah.
and get
I mean,
that Christmas
it didn't- if they
feel.
wanted to use that real estate, that's fine. Put it somewhere else.
You could put it on Sunset
You
Boulevard.
could totally
got a
put it on
whole street
Sunset.
there.
That street's not even doing anything
No,
besides
they're
just
doing
being a
a-
long queue.
They're doing a
Sunset and
projection
Hollywood
show
Street,
off
boom.
of Tower Turn.
It was.
Yeah.
It was fun going down that street. It was
Yeah.
fun.
It jumped you like Florida is not a cold place like in the in
Right.
the evening when you're there in the park. It's cold at 12 o'clock at night during the winter, but if you really want to get that Christmas spirit, you either standing by
got
the
it.
castle at Magic Kingdom or the Oswald lights. Like I never really got it at Epcot.
No.
No, that was a special
Right.
attraction.
I agree.
It's a nice piece of like Americana,
Mm-hmm.
for that Christmas. Like you don't see that in other countries.
No.
That's us.
Absolutely. And then the next one, this one's a relatively new, the removal or the announcement of the removal of the Muppets. Muppet.
I see
Muppet.
why.
They've been
Muppet
there a
sad,
long time.
It's 30 years for
but I hope they do the new location justice.
Yeah.
the rock and roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of those like, yeah, it's a good show, and yeah, it's Jim Henson's last work, but like, it's an old show.
It's 30 plus years.
It's
And it's not popular. It's more like, hey kids, watch the Muppets, and then kids are like,
who's the
We're
Muppets? I don't
the
care about the
Muppets.
Muppets.
Yeah.
They're
the
not
problem
relevant.
is they are not.
They're
They are
not
not
using-
using the Muppets properly.
Yep.
They keep trying to put them out there without music. Muppets without music is
That's how they started.
Not very good.
Jim Henson started doing, lip syncing with popular songs with Muppets. That's
Absolutely.
how he became famous.
Yep.
And so until they start using the Muppets again to bring in the younger crowd, they're limping.
Just another IP in the drawer, the filing system.
Even the Mayhem show was
That's
I
fun.
enjoyed that.
fun, but I don't think it was geared towards younger children.
No, it definitely was
No.
not.
And so that I think they have to gear younger. That was a show made by Muppet fans.
Yeah,
that
they had like
grown
the
older.
Muppet Babies that they had on Disney Plus. And my daughter watched it a little bit, but there's so much content
Yep.
that it has to
Yes.
compete, and it costs too
Mhm.
much for the Muppets to produce that
Yep.
content
So
to compete.
Yep. That's funny because like in their debate, oh yeah, like that totally beat out Osborne, which I think we would all agree
Osborne.
Osborne
Oh,
would have
hands
crushed
down.
that. Mm-hmm.
Easy to do. You can put it anywhere. Just
And it
do
adds so much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, the next one we kind of already talked about it. We don't necessarily have to go too much into it.
No, let's do it.
Closure of Horizons.
It's fine.
It's
Yeah.
We kind of talked about it.
Bulldoze, baby, bulldoze.
It was time for it to go. You know, it was old.
It's a nice YouTube video now.
Yeah, it is a nice YouTube video.
Yeah, I rode the ride. The YouTube video does it justice.
Yep.
No,
You get the same vibe and same feels. I think that's
there's
fine.
no roller coaster in there. There's nothing that gives you a special, the YouTube video.
Well, again, I watched this like mini documentary about these people who were obsessed with the attraction, and they would literally jump out of the ride and like hang out in the sets, and nobody's riding the ride.
No
they're
one
just
knows.
walking around the sets because there was no cameras or sensors or anything like that, and they're just walking around the different sets and hanging out, and
That's crazy.
nobody was riding the ride. So, all
There was a
right.
test track.
This one, so that they labeled it as Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So the expectations for it, they had a lot of high expectations. There was
There was
a lot of things
promises. There was a
right.
lot of promises, and a lot fell short of those promises.
Really?
Right.
You
Yes.
think it fell short?
Yes, 100%.
I think the biggest problem when you said Star Wars Land, you were going to get Star Wars movie, not a Star Wars fictitious.
We just needed
Land.
to put the music in there. That's all they needed to do.
Well,
It's just the theming is unfamiliar. You're in a new place that has no place in any of the movies.
There's
Yeah.
nothing
There's
recognizable.
a book about it. That's about it. A book that only 10% of Americans read one book or more a year.
Right.
So that's very little.
You just need John Williams to get you excited about
There's
being
no, cool Star Wars show. Like they had one for the opening day, where they had a lightsaber fight. No lightsaber fights in the land. They got that little mini one with Kylo Ren and the stormtroopers.
Yeah, where
That's
they
true.
they
They
mess
were,
around.
they
There's
did
no
beef.
entertainment.
They got
The
a lot of space
entertainment
for
is
that.
down all over the parks. They
Yeah.
don't want to pay for entertainment.
They also mentioned like, the stats you get at the Falcon ride would affect
Right.
your service, and that doesn't happen.
It's
and-
pointless. Yeah.
What they did do right was the immersion
Yes.
and like seeing the characters walk around. It's a very pretty
Absolutely.
Yes.
land. Problem is like we wanted Hoth or Endor.
Tatooine.
It was super easy, and we didn't get the easy response. They're like, we're gonna be creative. We're gonna do this, and they did a really good
They
job
did
of the
a good
creativity.
job.
But the easy answer.
Yep.
We did not want Tatooine.
People wanted to
No,
see.
we see it in
we
all
don't.
our new material.
People
All
didn't
our
wanna
that's
see-
Disney Plus Star Wars right
Star
now.
Wars fans didn't want to see Kylo Ren walking around. They wanted to see Darth
Darth
Vader.
Vader.
We want Darth
Yes.
Vader. We want stormtroopers, not the new ones.
Right.
Like we wanted the thing that's centered for all Star Wars
And
fans.
that's why
it's
it
the
made the
OG.
Mhm.
Get some Ewoks walking around
Yeah.
there.
Right.
They lowered the child working age in these states now. Like what?
So the next one on the list, they had this vendetta against Pixar Pier.
Boy.
I don't mind Pixar Pier.
I don't mind Pixar Pier.
I like it more than what it was before.
Exactly.
Correct.
The
Correct.
problem started originally with the design of California Adventure. So
Correct. The problem isn't the Pixar theme. It's the design of
but we
the
got-
land itself.
We have the World of Color now,
Yep.
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Oh, it's great.
Yes.
That's awesome. So
Yes.
yes, we got this big old body of water, but as a result of them being creative, we got a really good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
the pier's there as a result of just this body of water.
And I actually applaud Disney for stepping away from doing one IP lands.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
for a while, that's all they were doing. Okay, we got Cars Land, we've got Avatar Land, we've got Star Wars Land, we got Marvel. Like, at least they did like a generic one where you could interchange, you can
yes.
change things up. You got Incredibles next to Toy Story, next to Inside Out. You have interchangeable IP that
I
can.
think
flow
Pixar
through
Pier
there.
is a
I'm
plus
okay with
from
it.
what was.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
themed
think so
before.
too.
that's a win.
This next one, Magical Express, going away.
Oh, it's sad.
No, I'm glad it's gone. for the employees' sake, I'm glad it's gone.
Yeah, but for the guest, it's not. We don't go to Disney World for like, oh, how are the employees gonna
No.
like my experience?
It's
And
funny
no,
that you say that because our next one's about cast members.
no, it's. I think
Remind me, what is Magical
it's the bus that took you from the
Bus.
airport
The
to the
free
park.
Oh, yeah, that
bus.
was great.
And you
It's a
can
free
put
bus.
special tags on your luggage, and they would deliver it to
They'll
your
pick it up from your
room.
house, right?
No. Oh my gosh, no. I worked in mail service. I dealt with Magical Express, the ticketing, the scheduling. It was just a nightmare. And honestly, it was easier. And really what pushed it away, I think, was it was easier for guests just to get an Uber. Because with the Magical Express, we would schedule the guests out. And so if you're flying domestic, you would get a bus like 2 hours out until your flight. And guests would be mad that they had to take this bus. And they couldn't take a later bus. But like, if you miss it, that's it. Like, you don't get another ticket unless you get permission from the bus driver.
Right.
So you're saying the execution of the bus system was bad. Could they have fixed that execution of it and provide a
They could have, but with how the increase of like Uber and rental cars and such, it wasn't
because
needed.
renting a car there, it was like you take this bus to this random park. It was just like a weird. It's not like how we have at our airport where it's like you have one building where everyone's at. It was like you're going to these different lots and it's dark and you're like, I'm just walking around in this dark lot.
Right.
You know,
For somebody who wanted easy,
that was
the
it.
Magical
easy.
Express was easy for the customer.
I must say, the Magical Express is probably a pro for pushing people to stay on property.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because then you say, oh, you'll take
I
me
get
to the
free
hotel,
drive.
and then I don't have to rent a car ever.
But
And
technically,
then I'm on the property the whole time
Magical
spending my money there.
Express still exists. It's just by a third company.
It's the
and
same
you
company.
just have to pay.
It's the same company.
You just have to pay.
Yeah, I did it. I
I've
did
done
that
it.
when I went.
It's not
Yeah, because when you have a
bad.
big
Well,
family, you're not like I have to find a specific Uber
Right.
with a big van. Like we did an Uber when we were in Paris, and I was all like, "How are we gonna find an Uber?" Like these people don't have big vehicles, but there are people specific for that, and
Right.
and it's just like, yeah, it's more difficult, I think,
Yeah.
for big families.
That's why that made the list. So moving on to the next section, treatment of cast members during COVID.
I don't know. I didn't.
It was like
Oh, they
the
got, like-
mask.
It was
Is
like
it the mask, or is that they all got
they
like
all got like
hours were like
Oh.
completely
laid
cut
off
down?
and things like that.
Yes.
I didn't necessarily agree with this one being on the bracket because like
It's just reality
just
of the
unfair,
business.
but
it
like,
was
it's
a
a
reality
business.
of
Everyone
pandemic.
was kind of affected by
correct.
that.
That's why I was
so-
kind of like a cheap one and like in their bracket thing like it eliminated a lot of other things and it's like
It's like, yeah, some companies
yeah, I feel
did
bad
it
for the
better.
cast members that like had to go through that, but like it wasn't the only ones dealing with it. What didn't help was Bob Chapek going, I just bought myself a $50 million mansion in Florida.
Yeah. It didn't help that
Let's
they,
take a tour on YouTube.
Oh,
yeah.
he did that.
yes.
Oh.
It was like right after he had laid off all the cast
Oh.
members.
Yeah, it didn't help that they were announcing pay raises or bonuses that these big VPs and CEOs were getting, and then they were laying off
And then they're sending their tech companies. They're like, we're gonna have you train the guys in the other country, and then we're gonna
Yeah.
lay you off.
Yeah.
And we've let you know this. So if you just want a couple more paychecks, stay
Yeah.
with us.
Right.
Yeah, that's a bad. I mean,
They
It's
could have done
tough.
it better.
Right. The next one was the City of Celebration.
oh, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this nice, clean.
This was basically
town.
Eisner's
Yeah.
attempt to do
Like
a
Walt
little Epcot.
Disney's
Yeah.
dream of Epcot, a community where people live, and it was an utter disaster.
It was
It's gotten better now.
kind of
Well, yeah,
out of the
'cause it's
way.
not controlled by
Oh.
Disney anymore. It's functioning as just a normal city.
Yeah.
It's got its
not-
own
because there were rules
charter.
living in Celebration, and the way they did their school system was very unique. Like all the kids, like kids of different. You were putting, like, you would say like it's a good thing the way they did it, but the way it was executed was poorly. So it was basically your kids were put into different classes based off of their education, like where they were education wise, not necessarily their age. And so, but like they had like this mismanagement of like, okay, I'm teaching 5th graders this, like they were having, they were putting like, the kids that were really good at math in the higher ups, but they weren't very good in English, but they were still in the higher math, so they were in the higher classes, and it was a mess.
It got messy.
Yeah.
I remember walking through there, and I'm like, it's kind of weird.
It's a weird vibe.
It's because it's like, because I lived in
designed.
different parts of Orlando, and
Yep.
I was like, this doesn't feel like Orlando. And
Doesn't feel real, huh?
it didn't feel real. It was nice to visit, and you're like, oh, okay, hang out with friends, or you go to like a little restaurant here. It had that Disney feel, but like it was like a creepy Disney feel.
Yeah.
Like you're waiting for like some Stepford wife kind of
Yeah.
robots to
Yep.
come out and be like, what are you doing here? Like, I'm sorry, I was just going to get my car. No, you'll never leave us. Join us forever. It had that vibe. You were just waiting for someone to trap you, and you were stuck there forever.
So, yep. The next one, the NBA experience.
Oh,
That was
bad.
an utter disaster.
Are you talking about like during COVID? Like when they
Just
did
in general.
the like,
What replaced Disney Quest?
Yeah.
oh, Disney Quest, because they had like the bubble NBA playoffs there.
Oh, no.
No, that's different.
Okay.
This is what replaced Disney Quest.
Yeah, they had this like NBA
Where you
experience.
shoot hoops and get points. It was bad. No
It
one-
was this thing that was like, it did so bad the first month that they were giving free passes to cast members like after 1 month of it being open.
Yeah.
Saying, bring your family for free, just come, and nobody came. And then when COVID hit, it closed and they never reopened. It was really bad. It was like, hey, come look at this room and you can look at stats from the 1990s
It was
basketball.
hard.
Turned into like a museum.
It was hard because it really wasn't great for little kids.
It was meant for the super NBA fans, but the super NBA fans were like, I don't want to go to
I don't
that.
want to go to that.
They're like,
So
I
it
want to
was
spend
literally
my money
built
on a
for
game.
no one. Nobody wanted this thing.
It's not the type of thing you put right next to Disney World.
Correct.
Where
You're
we
competing
wanna-
with
right.
so
Now,
many
Iger was a
different things
big
there.
Iger was a big NBA fan.
Well, yeah,
so,
he's a media guy.
Yeah, he was.
Wasn't he like a big part of ESPN?
No, he
No,
was ABC.
Oh.
Adam Silver is the commissioner for the NBA, and he's always about trying to expand the reach of what the NBA is doing. And so they figure like, oh yeah, no, we got something stationary here where all the fans can go to
Right.
when they come to visit here. The problem
they're
is nobody
too
wants
busy.
to. Yeah,
You got 4 big theme parks. It's hard enough
And then
to
you got
get
the
there.
Universal there. Yeah.
even
And
Pleasure
water
Island or the
parks,
Springs.
yeah.
There's so many cool places to go eat
Yeah.
and experience. Like,
You're dividing a family at that point. Well, who's interested?
Yeah.
Who
Right.
isn't?
the ones that don't want to go to Circus du Soleil.
Yeah.
The next one on the list: closure of Mr. Toad at Walt Disney World.
I mean,
It was. I will
heard-
say this: if you look at their version of Mr. Toad, it was definitely better than Disneyland's. They had the better version of Mr.
More
Toad
space.
because they had 2 different tracks. So it was like mirrored tracks. So like, and there were 2 different experiences.
I'm not sure I ever rode it.
I don't remember it. I can't say. I like the Winnie the Pooh ride. I think it's cool that they have a queue there. It's kind of fun. It's
So-
the first interactive queue, I think.
Yeah.
So without it, you wouldn't really have the other stuff. I mean,
Hard
you would
for me
eventually.
to say
but it's
because I did not experience it because that was one of the rides that I said, okay, we've got that at Disneyland, so we don't need to go see it here.
It's sad, but like also, I think they would have gotten rid of it eventually.
I mean, as far as how many people watch The Adventures of Mr. Toad,
Right.
not many.
I think only is at Disneyland because it's just been there for so long.
right.
It's
That's
original.
It's there. It's cemented
Yeah.
to the Disneyland experience. But
And-
Disney World,
And there's nothing they can really replace it with the regulations
No.
that California has with putting anything in. If they do, then
They're
they have to-
grandfathered in with
Yeah.
all
Which
their
is
stuff.
interesting because Disney World was so much of a no, we don't change anything here. We don't change anything here.
Well,
They have
Disneyland-
a lot of that, and now they've
They've loosened it up.
switched.
Like the Alice in Wonderland didn't have the handrails on it anymore.
Right.
When I walked by, I was like, nice. They got rid of them. The ones
Oh,
at the
yeah?
very top.
Yeah. The ugly the ugly
Oh, I'm
safety
glad.
things. Well, I mean, it's still not the same, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice not to see stupid
Right.
handrails
Agreed.
on that ride. You're like, you didn't need these.
Agreed. All right, next one is Firing of Tom Staggs. Do you guys know who Tom Staggs is?
That name sounds familiar, but I
It's
can't
familiar,
place them.
but I can't.
He was the guy in charge of parks. During you can consider it the most.
Oh, yeah. He was going to be the next, like, Iger.
He was in line to become Iger's replacement in the early 2010s.
Did he get fired?
He.
He left.
They say he got fired. Like basically.
I left to spend more time with my family.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He went to go
Forced-
swim with the fishies.
And then he went and helped start Cocomelon. So.
Boy, well, Coco Melon's huge.
Yes, he did very well for himself. But he's the guy responsible for the revamp of California Adventure, Cars
Yay.
Land, Avatar Land. Like that's
He was the parks guy,
he was the parks guy. He was the guy everybody wanted to be the next CEO.
but he got to be the media guy.
But
that's where
Iger kept pushing back his retirement, and he left or felt pressure from JPEG to step aside as well.
Sure.
Yeah, that worked out great for him.
So that's why that ended up there. The My Disney Experience / needing your phone for everything.
I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's
I don't like it, but also I didn't like going from one end to the other just to get a fast pass. I do like the access of
that is nice.
knowing like the times and stuff. So I kind of like it.
But you could
I
put
don't-
up
I
you could
don't-
put kiosk all over the place like a mall map of like what the park like stuff is without it.
The
Yeah.
fact that they want you to use that in order to get your food, I hate.
I don't really care for the mobile order.
Oh, I love it. I
I think it
getting
works
them
great
on
for
there.
your family
Yeah.
and their needs. Like you guys just everyone's got different dietary needs to where you can go into like Adventureland and Frontierland and everyone gets what they need.
Mm-hmm. Nobody, we're not like pigeonholed. Like we're in this line, and we're gonna eat here no matter what. Like, okay, you want a corn dog from here. Okay, you want Bengal meat. You want that. Like, especially in the California Adventure,
The food court.
the food court
Yeah.
area, the
That
San
works great, yeah,
Francisco.
for you guys.
That's
You got
nice
the boom, boom, boom,
there.
boom, like more border, and then you got one person
That's true.
picking
You
at a
set
table, and the other person
Yeah.
goes and gets everything.
I
Nah.
think I'm
I
for
love
the
it.
app. I like the app.
I did my last trip pretty much without using the app. I only used it once to use the fast pass for
Tiana.
Tiana's, but that was on my wife's. So it was kind of nice not having to be on
Yeah.
my phone.
I
for
agree.
the trip. I didn't have the tickets on there, and so. But again, I was more focused on my kids.
Sure.
Right.
And I was like, let me pull up my phone. Oh, there goes my kid. It's
again, there's always one person in the party that's in charge of the phone,
That's
Yeah.
why. That's why.
and
I
it's
go to
usually
the,
me
that-
or Peter.
Me. Yep.
That's why I go to the park with somebody that's going to do that.
So, all right, moving on. Removal of Disneyland's Country Bear Jamboree.
I'm
Yeah,
fine with
that's
that.
fine.
Yeah,
That's-
that was
Okay.
dead and gone.
Yeah.
It was a dead corner. It just never worked.
It never
for
worked for the California audience.
Yeah.
It like the Florida audience loved that show, but the Disneyland audience never picked up on it.
When it first came out, it was nice to have something new.
There's more attractions at Disneyland to do compared to Disney World,
Sure.
Magic Kingdom.
That's so true.
I think Winnie the Pooh is a nice
Yes.
It is
addition. I wish they'd put the three heads back in that restaurant where they used
Yeah.
to be there at the what was
At
it?
the Hungry Bear? It's still the Hungry Bear.
Was it the Hungry Bear where they had? I thought they actually had it closer to the.
You're thinking of Disney World.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
They hung there by the restaurant, and
Yes.
that was fun.
Yeah, that was at Disney World.
The heads would be nice to still have in Frontierland.
Let's see here. The next one was the closing of the Great Movie Ride.
I'm okay with it.
I was sad. I liked it. It inspired me to want to watch movies.
I didn't really care for the ride so much, but I loved the
movie sequence at
movie
the end.
sequence at the
The
end.
montage.
That was great.
Well,
The
yeah, because
montage,
that
yeah.
just made you go,
Wonderful.
"Oh, I want to watch movies."
Yeah, I love that. I like the
It just-
intro
it
into the
just need-
queue.
Like it's one of those things. If they decided to put the money in and just put in more relevant scenes, because Clint Eastwood, was very popular for his time. He's not very popular now.
Well,
But it would.
He's not relevant.
He's
can
not
see
relevant.
Why
That was
they
all
did
I-
it because it would be so expensive to constantly up.
not too much. You do one scene
Up to it.
every 5 years.
How long would a Star Wars scene last? Forever.
It's like the Indiana Jones scene.
Yep.
But the
That
alien
could stay.
scene,
That could-
it got old. Like Sigourney Weaver moving her head. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm scared. But the alien popping
I
out,
did
that was
too.
fun.
That was good. I
The
was
Sigourney
gonna say,
Weaver-
that one worked.
Tarzan.
I
The
did.
Tarzan
Oh, the
scene.
Tarzan, man. That was.
No.
I did do a backstage tour where I got to walk around the sets and stuff, and that was fun. But the ride itself was meh. I'm okay with it gone.
Let's see here. The next one, promoting of Paul Pressler. This goes into your thought about Disneyland in the 90s, of how it was not good. So he is the guy, basically, he's who started the penny pinching mentality in the Disney parks. People can attribute his actions to the reason why, if you go back and listen to our Disney and Law book review,
Why things got messy then.
why people died because of maintenance issues.
Yeah, that guy.
So that's why he made the list.
So based off that book that we did a review on, and you want to
people say that he has blood on his hands because of his actions. So
What's he doing now?
he went to go work at the Gap,
which died, right?
which is now dead.
Boy, more blood.
I don't know if he's still there, but if he was still there at the end. But that's what I heard that's where he went. So him and there's another person on the list. But the next one on the list is the one of many Main Street Electrical Parade farewells.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're like a rock band. Last farewell tour. I promise. Half the band members are gone because they've died.
Yeah, they like
Here,
to-
buy a light bulb. You'll never see it again.
Yeah, I remember the VHS tape that they sent it, like that you could buy.
Yes. On the
That was like
farewell. And then they
mid-90s.
said, oh, well, this is different now. It's a California adventure, so
It's not the
Yeah.
Main Street
Street.
Electrical.
Yeah.
Parade.
No, it's a
that
California
was-
adventure now.
That was bad.
Yeah.
Silly.
That was bad.
It was still fun to see.
Right.
But
That was kind of everyone's consensus. Is like, I don't know, it was fun. Bring it back. I don't care.
Even
like,
at Disney World when it was going by, like I'd have to sit there and just like watch it go by. And like, this sucks.
the next one, the Castle Dream Lights removal. So this was the Christmas lights on Cinderella's castle.
So sad that was
Oh,
gone.
that was
That's
beautiful.
sad. That's
sucked for the
gone.
people that had Christmas or that had wedding photos
with cranes.
and crates in
Yeah.
October. But man, Christmas time was
It
magical.
was.
They stopped doing that.
Yeah.
they're just projecting
They're
now.
just projecting.
Oh, that's garbage.
That's
Yeah,
too bad.
it's not good.
That castle lit up and it was just
That's
like that was
the
Christmas.
Osborne lights.
Yeah.
See, it's the same mentality. Oh, it costs so much to upkeep those light bulbs.
I mean, they had to get a crane out there, and
Yeah.
it was
Crane,
it was an ordeal to get those lights up on
Right.
that castle. But man,
It was spectacular.
those are the
Yeah.
best
It
lights.
was magical. The next one, Walt Disney Studios Paris.
I think it's fine, but I guess like long, big picture, strategic.
They
It was a blunder.
they told the story of they brought a retired Imagineer to the park, and the Imagineer was walking with another Imagineer, and he's walking around the park going, "So when do we get on stage?" And they're like, "Oh, we are on stage," and he's like, "Oh."
It was not enough. I mean, they were trying to sell it as a park, and it wasn't
It wasn't
even a
complete.
half a park.
It was a park. It was a European park. Lots of things to walk around and look at.
Yeah.
It was a garden.
Next one on the list: introduction of alcohol to the castle parks.
I haven't seen any negative effects of that.
I haven't seen.
People have been
negative effects.
stupid, and it's not because of alcohol.
Right.
It's just because
And the thing is,
become
in the
one
castle
really-
parks, the only place you can get alcohol are
Or
the sit downs.
sit-downs, and they're so expensive, and they water down the drinks.
You're not going to get wasted on a $15 beer. you know?
I saw more. The place where it's stupid is Epcot.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So
It's the alcohol
but
part.
not at Disneyland or that. I haven't seen any. Like I've never gone there and be like, man, alcohol's brought down the experience. No.
Not at the castle parks, I
No.
would say.
No.
The next one would be Bob Iger's return. So Chapek left, Iger came back.
I think that was a plus.
I think it was a
It
plus
stabilized.
Yes.
for a little bit. I think he's overstayed his welcome.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
have a problem.
my
They have to find somebody that's going to take them to the next level.
Yeah.
I think my issue has always been the same. I know you guys are all, oh, Iger's coming back. And it's like, I'm hesitant and I'm still like, I'm not. Oh, great. You've brought back some of the things you took away.
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, Disney was going down.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And so you just brought somebody just to stop it.
Yeah.
So he served its purpose, but as Jackie said, I think it's time to move on.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt. All right. This one you guys might not know about, the Tomorrowland Cabanas. This is at Disney World. They basically had these like
shade structures.
Yes.
And they took away shade. It's kind of like taking away the park benches at Disneyland. Not good.
Yeah. So
We want shade. We want park benches.
We want a
Yeah.
place to just be
no,
still.
this is something else. So like these were like kind of like mini like homes or like luxury like little places you could stay.
Like little
it was
pods.
it was like behind Space Mountain in Florida. And like people described it as it looks like I'm driving by like a homeless encampment.
I mean, that's all I can think of because, like, on the other side of Space Mountain,
It's a walkway.
it's basically it's a road and like there's a river, like there's
Yeah.
water on the other side. Like, yeah, it's gonna
So
look
is
bad
it
back there.
Inside the park or outside?
Outside.
Okay. I don't care.
I don't
Yeah.
know any of the.
So they just said it was a bad call. It didn't last very long.
They should
and it
get the
died real
Japanese
quick.
style beds that you just take a nap
the
in.
pods.
The pods.
The little
yeah.
pods,
Yes.
like they have at the airport, where you rent it for like a couple hours. Man, I would do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
You got a kid that's falling asleep. All right, let's go, kid. It's
Yeah.
quiet and it's cool.
We're waiting for the Wally chairs. We want
Oh,
the Wally
man.
chairs.
All right. And then this one we kind of briefly talked about in our episode talking about the Disney decade, Disneyland Paris.
It was.
It was a cause of we lost a lot of things because
Yeah.
of the impact of that park.
The parks would look a lot different if we didn't have Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, but I'm fine.
We might have had more theme parks
We
if
might-
it was not for it.
Where else would we have gotten theme parks?
Well,
It was
Disney's
Virginia,
America.
Yeah.
We might have
I
gotten
don't
Westcott.
It's hard to
Instead
say
of
and
California
go, oh,
Adventure.
we could have had this.
It's true. It's
Hey,
true.
Because they may have taken that away too.
I mean, I went to Disneyland Paris, and the castle's beautiful.
The whole,
It's a
the whole
beautiful
park.
park.
Is park.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
is
yeah.
a beautiful
I
park.
agree.
They spent the money that they needed to. I think it was good, other than the chain link line for Space,
Space
Mountain.
Mountain.
Yeah, it
I
is
don't
a
like
little
that. That's
cyberpunk
like,
style
I
there.
feel like I'm at Six Flags. Anyway,
You know what? But it is a highlight for families that go travel to like Europe
Yeah.
but it,
to just take one day out and go to Disneyland and just kids can be kids,
Right.
as opposed to being like
We're
being
going
in
to
a museum or an old
Yeah.
castle or a cathedral. That's nothing for kids, but to have one place that you can go, and they do a good job with all the different languages there.
Yeah,
They-
they do.
they just got the marketing wrong.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they may have put it in the wrong country.
Yep.
Maybe.
I think it was supposed to go. Was it Spain or Portugal?
Yeah,
It was one of those. It was
I was thinking Spain might have been a better option. I don't know, but
yeah, it was either like Spain or Portugal. It was between that or France.
but
and
France has got this strange culture that
they're embracing it more. So.
yes,
There are people that are really involved with their politics. Like
Yeah.
if somebody raises the rate for anything, they riot.
Yeah.
They didn't like the Eiffel Tower when it came up, but now
They still don't like it.
Oh no, they
No.
like it more.
The French are like, you can tear it down. I don't care. It brings in all the dumb people. We
I
don't
don't
want it
know.
anymore.
I'm not French, so I can't say.
Anyway, difficult
Yeah.
society to have to try to
Cater
meld
to.
into. Yeah.
Absolutely. The next one would be tiered classes as for guests. So basically, we cater to the rich, and then there's the poor
Yeah,
people.
it was very small, like catering. Like you had to like get a guest service
Yeah.
employee to walk you around. It was either that or, just a regular norming. But now, like we do have different classes. How much you willing to pay to ride rides?
It's unfortunate, but that's just kind of how every company is turning into.
Yeah, Universal was doing it.
Yeah.
So the next one, Rivers of Light, the show for Animal Kingdom on that lake that lasted like a week.
I wish they gave it more of a chance. I wish they
It
invested
kept
more
sinking.
time.
It kept sinking. It wasn't staying afloat.
I wish they gave it more
The
time.
boats kept sinking.
So the Imagineers got it wrong.
Yes. The engineers got it wrong.
So yeah, it just didn't work. They labeled us as Toy Story lands, period, just encompassing all the different Toy Story lands.
Really?
Around the world.
They don't like them.
They just think they're poorly themed. The rides are generic, and
I could see that.
there's no shade
I could see
in
that.
any of them. They're just poorly themed. They just consider them poorly themed lands.
They're cheesy.
I have no problem. I never thought I was getting gypped out of experience. I mean, Cars Land is great.
Yeah.
That's immersive, and
I think
it's got
still
great picture
attracts
taking at night.
kids, so I can't complain about
I don't
that.
have any issues, but so the next one on their list, the original Hong Kong Disneyland. I mean, we haven't been there, so we don't really know. I know they didn't have a lot.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot going on.
They didn't
there.
have a lot going on there, so
Would you go? Would you guys go to Hong Kong if you were like if
it
you were out in
was-
Asia? Like if you had a chance to go
Sure,
to
of
the three
course.
parks, would you go?
I would
Like
go
we're not like
now-
I don't want to
well,
go to
they-
Hong Kong.
they
I
have-
could pass
They
it.
have they have considered one of the best Disney attractions ever built there, so I'm
Which
interested.
You would go.
attraction is that?
Mystic Manor.
Okay,
Okay.
I was thinking it was the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, they're Mystic
Version.
Manor. Yep.
I was just curious because it's like I would go if I was in Hong
Absolutely.
Kong.
And they have Frozen
I'm not gonna be like,
there.
oh, I can
Now-
pass this one.
now.
No,
Right?
If I'm in
But that's
Hong Kong,
no,
yeah.
that's the same one that they have at Disney World.
Is it Zootopia then that they have?
They have Zootopia.
They have Zootopia now.
No, if I'm in Japan, I'm gonna jump over to the other two
Yeah,
parks.
of
If I made it
course.
over to the ocean again, I'm gonna go jump over to the
Okay,
park.
you have to pick between Hong Kong and Shanghai. Which
I'll
one
go to
is-
Hong Kong.
Shanghai.
Hong
I
Kong.
go to Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
I'm going to Shanghai.
Shanghai's got a lot of different things.
It's a different experience.
Okay, just curious.
But I don't know enough about Hong Kong to really knock it. But my guy's saying like, no, go to Shanghai.
From what I've heard, Hong Kong is small though. It's like a
Yes.
1 day kind of park.
I want to see that castle in China.
Oh, in Shanghai.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's big.
All right. The next one is the Epcot reimagining from 2019 to 2024. What did we get?
We got the Guardians ride.
Yeah.
We got the Guardians ride, and we got the Community College Garden.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, is Valencia got a garden there? That was our community college when
Yeah.
I was there in Orlando.
Well, and they got the show.
Oh, the show that failed, and they had to change it really quickly.
Yeah.
Like, no, that was only for the 50th anniversary. We're gonna destroy the Stargate and put in a different
Yeah.
The
show.
Stargate.
that was just weird.
It
What
was.
they do with entertainment.
Yeah.
It is just really, really weird.
Like
what
What are you talking about?
do.
When we went in '92, they had like these giant blow up characters coming out of each land, and then they have these flying, vehicles that were like going around and they're shooting off fireworks during the day. I mean, I wasn't like the best show.
But it was entertaining.
Yes, because you're like, wow, fireworks in the middle of the day? Like,
The big, huge balloons.
the big balloons was kind of entertaining. But everything else, you're like, these sky-flying vehicles, you're just like, what's going on?
Seeing Goofy fly one of those, that was fun.
But there was there was a lot that, again, this kind of goes back to the Galaxy's Edge thing. There was a lot of things promised, and we got hardly anything.
Yeah.
We didn't get the Coco ride. We didn't get the Mary Poppins ride.
Which
We
I'm
didn't
glad
get-
about.
Right. Yeah. We got Moana, the Moana water walkthrough.
Yeah.
We didn't get
Overpromised.
We didn't
Yeah.
get the reimagining
Is that
of
like
Spaceship Earth.
Princess Ada's splash pad?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
It's a little nicer. It's a little nicer
nicer.
than Ada Splash Pad. It's a little
It's
nicer.
nicer.
This is an attraction? Really, this is an attraction in here.
All right, go walk through it. There we go. I did the attraction. The other one, that's funny how these ended up back to back against each other, was the 1990s reimagining of Epcot. So this was when they changed Universe of Energy to be Ellen's Universe
I
of
love how they
Energy.
call it Ellen's
Test
ride.
track.
You got Test Track, part of that. There was also things that we didn't get with that, which was they were going to turn Spaceship Earth into a roller coaster. The Space Pavilion was part of that. The Journey into Imagination was a part of that. So there was some good and there was some bad with it. It was one of those things.
And we lost the imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We lost the imagination attraction. Next one, I don't know if you guys ever saw this show, Spectro Magic. It was
No.
kind of like Disney World's version of Main Street Electrical Parade.
No.
I think I vaguely remember.
The Disney World. It was with
Wasn't memorable.
It's with the creepy clowns.
The music wasn't that great.
Boom, Dad nailed it right there. Music's dead. It's dead to us.
Move on.
Right. The next one would be No Deal with J.K. Rowling.
Ooh, that was a huge mistake.
That was
Yeah.
a huge mistake.
Man,
But-
you could have put that in Hollywood Studios, and it would have been the park to go to.
But I don't know.
That's the
Could-
only thing keeping Universal Studio
But
that
Seriously,
saved
it
that
saved
Do
Universal
you
Studios.
think Disney could have done what Universal did?
Yeah, easily.
Could they have? Yes.
Yes.
Would they?
could
Would
have.
they? No.
No.
Yeah,
No,
but
well,
you
that's
know what?
that's the issue
But
with
what
it.
people wanted was just to walk down that street. If you just get a themed land and you put a good shop in there, I mean, they only had 2 rides when it opened. The existing Dueling Dragons and then the old Simpson ride
Right.
Yeah.
at Projection Screen. Is it really that more special? Like, could Disney screw that up or
It was so like the reason why this fell apart was that Disney wanted more control, whereas J.K. Rowling's like, no, I want you. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it right
My way.
You're gonna do
Yeah.
it like
she
the
wanted
way-
Lucas style
Yes,
control?
That's what she wanted, and Disney was all like, no, we don't want to do that. And then Universal was like, we'll pay you anything you want.
We're
You
struggling.
can do whatever you want. Well, you put Harry Potter in our parks.
I think that was a
It was-
Disney mistake.
Yeah,
They could have gotten a deal.
Yep.
man, that would have saved studios. Like studios,
It would
be
have just been Harry Potter World.
But it may have hurt in the long run if Universal was a dead park and there was nothing that Disney World was competing with.
right.
Nah.
It- it
Has
Because-
Universal really stepped up Disney
Since-
World? Like
They-
what we've gotten is the new Fantasyland, a couple new rides here and there, but the parks are relatively the same.
Yeah.
We
Has
gotta-
Epcot really changed that much besides Guardians?
no.
No.
But
No.
you have gotten Guardians. That's a big
That's a
plus.
big-
But that was eventually going to get replaced anyway. No one was going to watch Ellen from the 90s.
No,
Forever.
but
Especially now.
they
Especially
may
now.
have left it that way if they had Harry Potter's land and saying, we're just going to keep this going. Everybody's coming there. We don't need to update Epcot.
Right.
But it's just like, has Epcot even really been updated since then? No. Like, it hasn't really changed in the last 15 years. I think they would have been just fine. I don't see the parks deteriorated to a state that they would, like, sorry, cash cows. Harry Potter over here. I just don't see it. I think more money would have been taken from Disneyland over to Disney World.
Is when they didn't do the movies.
Yeah.
That's when the problem happened.
Yep.
Yeah. But I guess we're just talking about in the park or in that way.
Yeah.
All right, next one. The monorail maintenance and expansion at Disney World. Those are old monorails. Those are the same monorails we rode in 92.
Yeah, they haven't changed
Yeah.
anything.
It'll be too expensive. Disney will close the monorails before they get new ones or rebuild it.
They'll replace the monorails.
They won't
eventually.
expand.
They will not expand.
They will never expand the monorails.
Why do they need to? There's already one going to Animal Kingdom.
They
So
will
you're-
never
you're-
expand the monorails.
You're going to see they're investing in the gondolas. They think they
Yes.
see that as their future of getting around. To eventually get rid of all the buses, is that you're just going to take gondolas around the resort.
Hey, it's a seat.
Yep.
And I'm not jammed on a stupid boat.
And I can
At
be
night-
just with my family
Yep.
and
Yep.
This is my pod.
yeah.
So
Hopefully they don't get rid of the monorails. Hopefully they keep.
no, they'll
them
never
going.
get rid of the
They
ones
won't
that they
get
have.
rid of the monorails.
They're going to
but
turn them into a ride. And then they're going to shut that ride down because the ride weren't meant to be on that structure. Kind of like rocket rods.
Right.
It just adds.
How
so
cool would the
much-
rocket rods be on that? I'm going to Epcot. We're going 60
going
miles an hour on the
through the Contemporary Hotel. Don't want to stay at that hotel.
But honestly, in the long future, I could see them closing the monorail from Magic Kingdom to Epcot.
You think they're just going to get rid of the monorail? Just close it?
I think
To
in the
Epcot.
long future, I could see them getting rid of it because the maintenance on the monorails are a beast. Because I did a backstage tour with the monorail, and they said these are
Here, this is how we fix this. You see this crack? A little duct tape right there.
must say
They were watching the Red Green show.
the backstage
Exactly.
tour of the monorail was so boring.
Oh, look, the backside of the monorail. Aren't we
We
excited?
went to the shop where they work
This
on
is
the
where we
monorail.
keep the wrenches.
Here's old Red right here.
It's like
So proud of
walking
her.
Through the Alice in Wonderland
Oh,
ride, we
evac.
walk through the backstage and you go, "Oh, this is where they fix the units or whatever."
Yeah.
And it's not very.
But
that
the guy
attractive.
says they will
workshop.
never expand the monorail
No.
track,
It's too much.
and these are OG, and they will only repair. And if they replace it, they'll replace it with something brand new,
Yes.
like type of vehicle.
Yeah, there was talks that they were going to get the same type of trains that Tokyo has
Yeah.
for their monorails.
I'm all for rocket rods.
Rocket rods on the monorail.
Just see Grandma on there. Gotta get to the
I'm
Grand.
staying at the Grand Floridian because of it's so peaceful.
My hair.
All right, moving
I can
on.
see the AR already in my head. And Grandma just like losing it.
Moving on, the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser.
It was too expensive.
Oh, that
way too expensive.
what a
And-
blunder!
I wish
and when
they-
they turned on the lights to show what the inside of the Star Wars ship looked like, you go, that looks like it's from Chuck E. Cheese, and everybody went, I'm not signing
wish
up for that
They
price.
just did a Star Wars theme hotel. Just like a normal hotel, but a Star Wars theme, not
Star
an
Destroyer.
experience.
Like you're just in a Star Destroyer,
Yeah.
and each room is like a different kind of like
Yeah, they
spaceship.
didn't
or-
have to make it quite so expensive with
The story and
the immersion into like
It
that
was too much. I could see the excitement behind it, but it was too much. Not realistic for the family of 4 going to Disney World. Just it wasn't there.
Yeah.
They were relying too much on the super Star Wars super fans.
Yep.
and then those super fans are
They'll go once, and then that's it.
that's it, and there's just rumblings where they're fans, but there's like a reluctance of like, all right, Disney, what are you gonna feed me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But again, I think when they first showed it off, that was a marketing blunder because it did not look like what they had talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It did not look like Star Wars when they showed it off. It looked like, that
You're on a
looks like
spaceship.
Chuck E. Cheese built this. This doesn't look good.
Right. And the beds were very uncomfortable, or the food was okay. But all right, moving on. This one, Shanghai Disneyland. Iger considers it a mistake.
How so?
I can agree.
It's just because it's the Chinese audience wasn't the right. They're not the Disney audience.
Iger says it's a mistake.
Iger said it was a mistake.
No, China's number one. I love you, China.
China's number one.
China number one. Podcast loves you. AI's gonna pick up that. You guys are all in trouble.
So he said
Shanghai. I'm going on Shanghai. All
Iger
in.
said it was a mistake because the Chinese culture, like, they don't have the same understanding of how to behave in a Disney theme park. Because you had people just peeing,
They mob.
people peeing just anywhere, like just in the middle of the street.
There are signs in
like-
Paris that are in
like
for
it's just-
for those
it's
type of
just the
tourists.
culture
Yeah.
doesn't. It didn't work like they thought it was going to.
So
They
it's-
thought that Chinese market was
When-
like, oh, tons of Chinese people, they're gonna love it, they're gonna eat it up, and it's like, oh no.
But that's
so
kind of
it's
how.
kind of like the Euro Disney.
Right.
They just did not read the market well enough and think that it'll be like Japan.
Right.
They'll love it.
No.
When I was working at Disney World, it affected
Yep.
my work.
Oh, it sucked all your guys' money.
Yeah, it cut our hours working there.
I could see them saying it's probably not as successful as they thought it was going to be. It just takes time to introduce
Have they
a
added-
Western culture.
Yes.
Have they added anything to it?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, they're working on it.
They just added they did just add something to it. I'm forgetting what it was, but they did just recently add something
It
to
was
it.
really
They're
impressive.
doing like
huh?
Marvel or something, right?
I
I don't know.
no,
The Chinese market has been the hardest thing for Disney to crack.
Yeah.
Like there was
like-
that period where
'cause,
like
like, they
our
thought-
animation Mulan came out and nothing
Well,
got
because
in.
Disney thought, oh, well, we just have a park in Hong Kong, and that's actually doing well now. We'll just build another one in Shanghai, but realizing that the Hong Kong audience are more
They're more
They're
Western.
Western.
like Japan.
Yeah, they're more Western. They had that British influence.
right. So that's why I
Yeah,
it's
you're deep in the heart of.
we're not gonna build it. That like I even says like we're probably never gonna build another theme park in China. Like he even came out.
I
and
don't
said
think they
that.
need to.
No.
So,
When you have three within like a $200 or $300 flight,
Yeah.
you don't
There's
really
plenty.
need to over there anymore. I see them more putting something in Dubai more than anything
Oh,
else
yeah.
because
Say
there's money.
India. Again, a different culture there.
Different culture.
Different culture would
I
be
think
the warning there.
you're gonna get more in the Middle East and
Yep.
like Qatar because you have so many millionaires and wealthy
Yep.
families going
There's a
there, and
lot
it
of
is
wealth.
it is westernized
Or
when
what
it comes to like culture with like money culture.
yep.
Yeah.
Or what about Brazil? A lot of Brazilians going up to Disney.
No.
Florida.
No.
Florida.
I'm-
That's Florida's their big thing.
Mm-mm.
They don't want to mess with that.
Okay.
I think Florida's just it's just like fragile thing.
Yeah, if you put a theme park in Brazil, that lose a lot of people coming to Florida.
But all right, moving on. The abundance in the variety of different hard ticket events around the different theme parks.
It's getting excessive. The special events.
right.
It's getting too
They're not special anymore.
and the amount of what they're putting in these events is disappointing.
Very minimal.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's-
minimal.
It's great to do those when they first introduce them because they're generally better the first time around, and then they go downhill from
Yeah,
there.
it's like the first and the second time they do it, it's good.
It's kind of like D23.
Then
Yeah.
then budgets get cut, and they're just doing it because like, well, we got a big boost here, but
Like
we're
they-
gonna cut back and just.
They did a 90s night at Disneyland.
that was
and
horrible.
It looked It looked
I heard
Did
it went
terrible.
Don
really bad.
Kennard come out?
Yeah, he did. He did. All right, we'll move on.
Peter's
to-
not even entertained. He's like, no, we're going to talk about this.
No, well, like he showed up, but yeah,
Yeah.
nobody cares. All right, next one. Not caring about sight lines or lands. So like putting things there where they don't belong, or seeing things that you shouldn't be seeing in different lands.
Who cares?
It's
That's a
it's-
Disney
No one
nerd. That's a
cares.
Disney
It
nerd.
is a Disney nerd thing.
I don't think that they've been that
I
horrible.
haven't
I think they're
noticed
still
it.
trying.
It's a more of a recent thing. There's a lot of people that would say the Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't belong in Epcot.
Yeah, I always thought that. I was like,
Epcot-
that's kind of a weird thing.
Epcot is not.
Epcot is a
Who
mismatch
cares
of the
about
things.
Epcot.
I know.
Just make
It's
it
the
less. Don't make
theme.
it suck. All right.
Yes.
It just its foundation wasn't. Peter loves the foundation of it. It had
Yeah.
a great idea, but the fans, the regular
Right.
guests, were just like, "This is boring."
Right.
As Homer
Theme-
said, it's even
Correct.
boring flying over it.
Right.
The theming of Epcot is like near zero. White. It's like Space Mountain. You know. It's just,
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm
You'll
more
ruin
concerned
it.
about if you ruin, the fantasy of Fantasyland by putting a cell tower in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That would be. Well, okay, what are you doing?
That's a nice one. Yeah. T-Mobile's got a great service here. No problem with getting my service
In
here.
this attraction, we're going to show you the inner workings of T-Mobile in Fantasyland. Whoa.
All right, moving on. The next one would be the amount of growth the Disney Vacation Club has impacted things now.
How has it impacted things?
Well, now
Money, money,
any
money.
hotels that they build, they're all DVC.
They're all DVC.
Yeah, I mean,
they can sell
Bay Lake Towers
it.
is exclusive.
Mm-hmm. And
They just did a DVC tower at Polynesian.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a DVC over a wilderness campground.
I'm not opposed to Disney making money. If
Also,
they've
the
got
impact
people.
inside the parks now, because now
They're
they are
doing
taking
DVC
over.
lounges.
Now they're taking over areas that were once like they took out the shooting range at the Frontierland at Disney World to put in a DVC lounge.
It's funny because it's right next to a garbage chute. That's where my
Yeah.
old break room was.
It's
Tiki.
it stinks that they're like taking up space in the park, but it also stinks of what they're doing because the DVC lounges are not that great.
I was like, it can't be that impressive. That
It's
shooting
a
range wasn't
chair
big.
with some snacks and a soda.
It's kind of
drink.
like the D23
Yeah.
charter member
Yes.
lounge.
Right.
It's not that great.
Not that great.
So it's just like you're just adding these lounges as a more of a selling point to make more money.
Yeah, to give up real estate in like Disneyland, no, let's not give up any real estate in Disneyland because it's tight.
Right.
But Disney World, there's a little bit more
There's
room.
a lot of space.
Yeah.
We'll
Like
move.
Pecos Bill. Like that restaurant's so huge. It's empty half
I
the
know.
time.
That is a huge place.
Yeah.
So much seating there. So moving on to the next one. Disney Quest.
That was sad. So much
I
potential.
wish they just like updated it.
That's the thing. They just decided not to put any money in the thing.
It
And they
was
just let
stuck
it
in the
rot.
90s.
If they just updated it, it would have done well.
Yeah, some of those like VR rides. Like the coolest one was the boat one.
The pirate one.
Pirate-
The
Yeah.
pirate, the
Yeah.
pirate one. That was fun. Everything else, you're just like, man, I feel like I should just put on a laser disc from Rainy Day Schedule and watch
Yep.
that because that's as good as
Yep.
what these are.
Yeah, honestly, I wish they brought it back.
Well, you're kind of getting it back with what they're putting in there now. They're
Yeah.
putting in like this, not necessarily an arcade, but kind of like a combination arcade escape room-esque
Yeah.
sort
They
of
had some really good
things.
arcade games there
Yeah,
at
they
the Disney
did.
Quest.
Yeah.
I've never seen them anywhere else, and I was like, man, these are so much fun.
It was fun playing for like 3, maybe 4 hours, but then after that you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not an all day thing.
No. And then let's see here, the DAS debacle,
Oh.
the changing of
It's
DAS.
calming down.
Just how they
What
they-
is DAS?
the disability
Ability
services.
services.
The ADA pass.
The made it more restrictive
Yep.
as far as who they gave the pass to.
Yep.
It got really abused after the one article broke
Yeah,
that people were selling their pass as like their guides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to adjust that just because of the nature of things. I don't see that they're trying to find their way to make a balance between those who really need it and those who abuse it.
It's the reality is Disney does not have to give these passes out. They give these passes out for benefit. Most of the rides are
They're more
accommodating.
accessible now.
Yep.
So the passes is not for physical accommodation, but more for
Mental.
mental.
Yeah, there's some people that really need it.
So
And that's why I was like, I had no problem with who needed it. It was the people that you're abusing it and you knew it. And
Yep.
then that's when you really ratcheted down those rules and be like, where's the person?
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
not here. Oh, well,
and
can't go in.
it only got big because the people that were abusing it made a big deal about
The internet
it.
ruined it.
Yep.
They spread the word real quick
Yep.
on
They're
how to
like,
beat the
what?
system.
Disney's abusing disability people?
No, not at
Yeah.
all. Not at all. We were really, we definitely added good magic when, we were encountering true people.
And I saw people say Disney still does it better than like Universal or other theme parks or other experiences.
So, all right. Next one. Last set of things. I know we've been going on for a while, but we'll try to rush through these. Loss of atmospheric entertainment.
Yes.
That's a big
Yeah.
one that we all agree on.
Sad.
Huge, huge, huge.
They did better with the characters walking around now.
Yes.
That's a plus. It's nice to see like in the wild characters.
They need to bring back the live entertainment.
Yep.
I understand it may cost more.
But they need it.
You gotta have it.
Yep. I think that just speaks for itself. We all agree we need more entertainment. The next one was the changing of annual passes at Disneyland to Magic Keys.
Whatever.
It is what it is. Don't.
I'm just surprised that there are annual passes at this point.
Yeah.
It's
They
just
don't-
another tool for them to use when things are getting bad.
Yep.
And things are good, they take it away.
Right. Then they have on here the Avengers Campus.
That was a flop?
They hate
It's
Avengers
a lot of
Campus.
cement.
It is a lot of cement. I don't find
I wish
any
they
joy
changed the
from being there.
music. It's the same song constantly.
I
Dun,
find
dun, dun, dun.
The same song.
Man, it's like, boy, I really do feel good about myself after taking a pee. Like,
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
really, really feel heroic pee right there.
My biggest grime with Avengers Campus is the music. Like, can we switch it up?
it is.
It's themed correctly.
Yep.
It's just a lot of cement.
It's a
Like,
lot of cement.
would it hurt to have a tree?
Yeah.
There is no joy there. I don't get any joy being there.
It's a easy walkthrough.
So, yep, that's why it made the list. So, the Western River Expedition, them not deciding to build that. So, if you don't know what that is, that was basically Disney World's plan. Instead of building pirates, they were going to build this, which was going to be
Yes.
this Western
Oh.
River
I'm-
experience.
I'm
But
glad
then
they
all the
kept
fans were
pirates.
all like, "What?
Where's-
We want pirates? Where's
where's
pirates?"
pirates?
And
Yeah.
so they're like, "Oh, we got to build pirates," and this got cut.
I
I'm-
think this would have been really cool in the long run
I think so too.
because it's unique.
Yep.
And it would have separated Magic Kingdom from Disneyland.
Yep.
So
And
the
that's
problem-
why they were going to do this
I
instead
think it
of
would have-
pirates.
Because I remember like reading up on this and I'm like, oh, this would have been really cool long. But again, people want just East Coast Disneyland.
And besides, what are they going to do with it? They're going to cut it out because they cut out all the water
It's-
at Disney World.
It's not known.
Yeah.
And there's the variable of it could fail.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. This one's similar to that other one. Promoting of Cynthia Harris. She was the one in charge of Disneyland specifically in the 90s during that whole
Oh,
debacle.
right. This is
Yeah.
like Presley. Yeah.
Yes. So it's the same thing. We don't necessarily need to go into
No.
that one so much. The changes to Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's whatever.
So adding the movie stuff to removing We Wants the Redhead.
Pirates,
The chasing
don't
of-
The
face-
chasing of the
It still
Food
gives me
and
the
some-
same vibe of pirates.
Yeah, it doesn't take away the pirate vibe, but it is sad to see it different from your childhood. But that's you're just battling nostalgia.
they brought up an interesting point. They said like this was a change when they started changing this. It showed that they can change other things, and that's why you got the changes in the Jungle Cruise. They're now starting to change things in the Haunted Mansion. They're going to get rid of the man who's hanging in the stretching room. They're going to get rid of that. They're kind of the elimination of Splash Mountain, things like
I mean,
that.
at the Haunted Mansion, you could have like something crawling along the walls or something. That would be creepy.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm fine as long as it's scary.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's
So-
just like, look, there's always my way, and there's like some window in the corner there, and you're like, well, that's anticlimactic.
Why they got rid of Splash Mountain? I mean, just the idea that it was a mountain. Even if they rethemed it, the fact that they got rid of the mountain. title after we talk about the mountains as being,
Right.
e-ticket attraction kind of thing.
Right.
I don't get that.
There's no
myself.
mountains in New Orleans. It's just ridiculous. It's horrible theming, Dad. Why would you even say that? Why are we going to have Tiana Mountain? That's ridiculous.
It's a salt mine.
So, yeah, jeez.
Yeah, it looks like the mine over at Knott's Berry Farm.
It does. You're
Not-
right. It does look like
And
that.
it's not. That's a downgrade.
You're not wrong. It does look. We're almost done. We've been on this for 2 hours. We're almost done.
No, only an
I've
hour
been trying to
and a half.
I've been trying to push us through this.
Oh, no, I want to drag this
Um,
out.
So we've talked about this one in a prior episode, the Animal Kingdom cut, so like Beastly Kingdom. So we talked about that in a prior episode when talking about the Disney
I
decade.
can go on for 30 minutes about that.
I know you can. Splash Mountain, changing that to Tiana.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yep. So that made the list.
just
Those-
wish they did it better.
Zippity-doo-dah that, all right?
Yeah, let's bring a statue for James Basket.
right. The removal of the People Mover at Disneyland and not bringing that back.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
Yeah.
The elimination of the Rivers of America at Disney World.
Big
Yeah.
mistake, I
Yeah.
think. You just lose so much atmosphere losing.
But the thing is, I
the
haven't seen
riverboat.
what it's gonna be.
It's
so
true.
It's
It's
hard.
in progress.
So it's hard to say.
You lose that Kodak picture spot.
But you know what? Maybe they're making.
I
it
didn't see a lot of
better.
people taking pictures when I worked right
Yeah.
next to it. You know how many people asked for the keel boats when I was there? No one. So, for a person that's worked and looked at that river, no one was ever like, "Wow,
I will say this.
what a scenic view!"
I
No
will
one
say
ever
this.
said
The
that.
Disney World's is far less than Disneyland.
Yes,
Now,
Disneyland
if,
will be sad.
If you got rid of the Disneyland one,
There'd be riots.
there would be big issues if you did that.
Riots,
Riots. I would say riots.
Pitchforks.
French style.
Pitchforks. We've got Gaston leading it.
Right. Well, and plus, Disneyland uses it for one of its biggest
Fantasmic.
shows. Disney World doesn't
The dragons
use it.
in there blowing away. The Imagineers.
Disney World, they don't use their lake at all. It's still, yeah. So, moving on, we've got the removal of Earful Tower.
Oh, that's fine.
I mean, it was nice,
It's
but
cute,
I
but-
don't think anybody really notices.
What? Which one?
The
The
water
Earful
tower.
Tower at MGM Studios.
No.
I mean, it was cute, but I don't think anybody notices.
Right. For the average guest, I don't think people cared. And then, of course, we got the original DCA. That was a failure.
It was a failure.
It
Yeah.
was a failure.
No.
Why do we need a park showing us what California looks like when we're
In
in
California.
And the locals are the
Dumb.
big source of the
Yeah.
audience.
And-
Well, that was the whole reason why they didn't want to build Pirates of the Caribbean in Florida, because it's like, well, we're at the Caribbean already. I don't think the audience.
But there are pirates walking around.
The problem, yeah, it's like, boy, I never saw cannons when I was oh yeah, just another pirate and cannon over here
It's
in
like
Kissimmee,
California,
Florida.
they're like a statue of a surfer. I'm like, yeah, okay, I see. There's surfers in California.
Boy, they missed that one, didn't they?
So, moving on, we've got the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary.
Yeah, what
A
happened
blunder.
with that?
COVID killed it.
COVID was a big contributing factor to that.
What happened to the Disney 100 celebration?
Yup.
COVID.
I would incorporate that with this as well because they
Yeah.
were right next to each other and
That's
it was the
why-
same thing.
That's why I say on the Disneyland 70th, I'm telling Jackie, if you want to participate in what's going
It's
on,
only
we
in the
need
summer.
to be there for 1 month. And then they're going to go straight into fall
Yep.
Halloween
Yeah.
mode.
Right.
They do not keep.
No, they've changed. I
Anniversaries
think they've
long.
changed the language. It's only going to be celebrated in the summer now.
Is that what they said?
I
then?
think they're
Yeah, because when I
slowly
was
changing
there,
it.
there was nothing
It
there.
starts
It's just
on-
regular park.
It starts May 15th or something like that is when their celebration
Yeah, I think they
starts.
changed the
where-
language.
And remember the 50th Disneyland? That thing
That was the
went
best.
on for years.
10 years.
That was the best fireworks show. I
Yeah.
don't care.
It was the best parade. It was a great 50th parade.
It was
Loved
great.
that.
Yep.
All right. Magic Bands and Magic Band Plus.
I'm kind of disappointed. I like them, but
They don't.
I don't
They
like.
need to do more.
they're like
they
they're,
need to do more.
They need to
It's
do
they're
more.
like the mini disc before MP3 players. You're like, wow, this is kind of cool. But then like your cell phone took over everything. You're like, well, I've got an iPod. Why do I
Right.
need this mini disc player?
Right.
I could see the convenience because, like, having a Magic Band at Disney World was convenient, but then Disneyland, you're so used to doing it on your phone, and then you're throwing a Magic Band. You're just like, why do I need to pay $50 when I can just do it for free on my phone?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it just needs to do more. As soon as it starts doing more, like I think, because at Disney World you can at least put your credit card information on it, so you can
I
like.
think they just changed that.
Did they change
I
that?
think that
Because at
was
Disneyland
changed
they don't
recently.
they don't do that there yet. But okay, we'll move on. Second line, I got two more. The Sorcerer's Hat and the Wand on Spaceship Earth.
Glad the wand on Spaceship
it's
Earth
gone.
is gone. That was there too long
Yeah.
and just destroyed what
Oh, yeah.
Spaceship Earth looked like.
It looked
The hat.
Turn it into a
I'm
billboard.
gonna miss the
Like,
pin shop
It
under
was
the
fine.
hat.
It was fine when they initially did it for the year 2000. Sure, you
Right.
could
It was
do
cute.
that. But when you took out 2000 and put Epcot there, bleh.
And the hat didn't really bother me.
It's a pin shop
Yeah.
It
as
did-
the icon of the park. It was a pin shop.
It didn't bother me.
As Peter would say, it's a weak weenie.
Yes, it was. Because it's
What
like,
a
oh, what's that?
weenie.
And you walk up there, oh, it's a pin shop. Okay, this is what the marketing's telling me I should go look at, and oh, it's a pin shop. All right. At the last and not least, Bob Chapek.
Well, yeah.
I don't even have to add more to that. Bob
Hey.
Chapek.
We needed more Bob Chapek. It was fun going to DC23 and listen to everybody in the audience.
You need
booing
a good
him.
villain. to
It was
hate.
like, this is incredible. I would never think that would happen where somebody's standing up there live and he's getting booed with all these
He didn't
A-list
show-
stars
he-
around him.
He didn't
Oh,
show
it's a
up
It's
to
a great
it.
part of history to live through, Bob Chapek, of like he got the wrath of Disney fans.
He should have just gone on stage with Darth Vader's music. People would have at least laughed. when he did
Yeah.
it.
He should have embraced it.
He should have.
Yeah,
Be the villain.
Yeah, like to the point where like he stopped going to these events that he was supposed to go to, but he's like, I ain't going.
When
to
he
that.
started like screening media,
Yeah.
like what people are saying or like kicking people out, it's like, okay, we're retiring now.
Yep.
Or we're censoring.
These people are very passionate against Bob Chapek. That like his personal secretary would call them and saying, "Your little fake commercial is really mean."
Yeah,
And
that's
they're like, "Oh, really? We're gonna play it every single time now."
yeah. Yeah, poor Bob. He shot himself, like he got shot in the foot with COVID, and then he shot himself in the foot afterwards with the stupid optics of everything. Like his PR was just bad.
I will say this in defense of Bob Chapek, he did get screwed by the Disney company. They set him up for failure as CEO.
He was the fall guy.
Like he's come out and said a couple things saying like Iger never really left. And like he was being excluded from things that Iger was doing. And so I will say he did get a bet. I think he got thrown in there so that Disney could have a person that they could blame. And then when it was time for them to move forward, okay, Bob, you can Iger come back. Iger's going to come back. Chapek's out. And
we're
now
still going to keep the changes.
We're going to keep most of the changes that we want, you know.
Yeah, still, there's no entertainment.
But he
Where's
was in
the
there. He could have made a
entertainment?
change. He could have done things differently.
Oh, he didn't want to. Don't get me wrong. Chapek had it. He had a bad reputation before he was CEO. I mean, like we talked about Galaxy's Edge and things like that. Like that was on him. You know, like he dropped the ball on that. He dropped the ball on several other things. Like he, you know, when you're in charge of parks and recreation, and you come out at D23 and be like, "Hey, everybody, here's the Target dog."
What?
What? We're here looking for new Disney park attractions, and you're bringing out the Target dog?
You're like, yeah, it's our new Disney store. You're taking our Disney store away from us?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's going to be great. And you're like, no, it's not. I like going to the Disney store.
Yeah.
So, and that's why he made the list. Now, I know we're going long here, but what are your guys' thoughts of what would you think would be the worst thing out of everything we've kind of briefly talked? What's kind of stood out to you?
I think the blood on the hands of the execs. That's
You
dark. Like
you threw that out, and I was like, well, you can't argue against that one.
no, I wanted more stuff from the 90s. I hate you, Paris. There's like one person's face got ripped off by a nail because the boat wasn't secured properly. It's like, yeah, I think blood on the hands of like cutting corners, that was pretty bad. That's leaky gas, like gas lines from Pintos.
The whole Chapek, yeah, that's kind of bad too.
It's they're all symptoms of what's wrong with Disney today.
Yep.
But we can still go to the parks and have a good time.
That's
We can
right.
put on Disney Plus and we can watch just about any animated feature. It's doing all right.
Yeah.
We just had an hour and a half of just like really beating down all the
Oh, yeah.
imperfections. But
Oh,
there's
yeah.
But will we still give our money to Disney?
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
We still do.
It's-
We're
it's
part of the
got
problem.
us.
But in the end, these people, they did the bracket style, and in the end,
What was the worst?
Chapek was
Wow.
the was
That
the
was the worst.
that was the worst. It was between that and the elimination of Journey into Imagination.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
That's
Those
extreme.
people dying.
These are Walt
were-
Disney World fans.
Yeah.
And so Figment is a very important thing to the Disney World fans.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
So I'm just saying, like that's like there are other things I think would have beat out.
Like DCA is really poorly like planned out.
Yeah. So it would have been interesting to see what they would have come up with if Bob Chapek wasn't listed on here, because I knew, like, when I saw the
That's
list,
low-hanging
and
fruit for
they're
them.
like, oh, because they personally have a vendetta against
That's
him,
what it
and
sounds
so-
like. So that's what
oh
it's
yeah,
like.
totally. Like every round, it was 7-0, 7-0. Like they were all
How they voted for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was willing to give Bob Chapek the benefit of the doubt to say, okay, he needs to get his feet underneath him, but everybody turned on
It was
him.
just blunder
Oh,
after
so quick.
blunder.
Yeah, it was. But if you look at this list, there was a lot of these things. It was his fault. A lot of these things that
A lot
we
of the
talked
newer
about,
stuff, yeah.
A lot of the things that we talked about on this thing was his fault specifically. So, all right. Well, let us know what you think. What do you think is considered one of the Disney parks' greatest blunders? Is there something that they didn't mention? What are your thoughts? Let us know on your social medias, on Instagram, on X. All right, email us at matterhornyodlers@gmail.com. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember before your bobsled comes to a complete stop to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember,
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.